Buenos dias, and breaking news as Joe Biden officially drops out of the presidential race of this year's election in the United States of America. There have been rumors about this happening over the weekend, but now we have official confirmation. Joe Biden himself publicly declared that, and this is the official note that Joe Biden has just shared with the public, where he's saying that it has been the greatest honor of his life to serve as president, and while it has been his intention to seek re-election, he believes it is in the best interest of his party and the country to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling his duties as president for the remainder of his term, which is expiring basically in 4 months. It also, to be honest, sounds a lot like as if the party was pressuring him to kind of step down. The Democrats were pressuring him to take this decision, and he also made a tweet about this. I think it actually broke first on Twitter, and he's basically saying that he's also now fully endorsing his current vice president, Kamala Harris, to become the president and to take on the battle against Donald Trump, to take on the race. So those are big developments, and to be honest, ever since the first public debate between Biden and Trump, this, I guess, has been inevitable. We've all seen that coming. But seeing that it's now there, I think, number one, it brings a lot of spotlight now on the Democrats. What is their next move? What are they doing? Obama's also in the race. Michelle Obama has been kind of floating around as a potential candidate to take on the nomination. Kamala Harris, maybe some others. We obviously have to wait and see, but after this assassination attempt on Donald Trump and the RNC, the Congress by the Republicans, which was basically dominating media this entire week, now the Democrats are in the spotlight with this news. So we'll see if they are able to capitalize on that and to create momentum, because right now it does not look good for the Democrats. I think Donald Trump is leading in most polls ever since the assassination attempt, even more so than before. But yeah, this probably has been the only way out for Democrats to still have a chance to win this election. On other news, we also know that since the assassination attempt, a lot of influential people, including Elon Musk, Bill Ackman, Andreessen Horowitz, and many more, have publicly come out and said that they are fully endorsing Trump. Elon Musk is also funding Trump now with $45 million a month. And at last night's speech in Michigan, Donald Trump also said that he is a big fan of Elon and that he loves Elon. So as a result of that, obviously, Elon is now very bullish about Trump, Republicans, and he's very active in the political space. But also, he just changed his profile picture on Twitter, and he now has laser eyes. And to be honest, we all know what that means. We also know for a fact that Elon is an undercover Bitcoiner and crypto person. He's a big fan of Dogecoin, and I think that he has something big brewing. The fact that Trump declared himself as the crypto president and actually recorded a full segment on that in this video today, just before the Biden news came out. So we're going to talk about that later. But I think Elon Musk has something big brewing for Dogecoin, crypto, X, everything that he's doing with AI, with Grok that he's also having now is in his ecosystem, and getting this also on the political stage. And if Trump becomes president, and Trump and Musk are friends now, and many others, which I'll talk about later in this video, that Trump is also probably going to appoint a very bullish for crypto, a very bullish candidate for the Treasury Secretary, which could be another big catalyst for crypto to really have a boom next year. But let's go one by one to this lazy Sunday where we're seeing a continued relief pump in crypto. And this might not be a coincidence because we have a very big week coming up. More specifically, Tuesday is the day that you have to put on your calendar for next week, 2 days from now, because that's when the Ethereum ETF is most likely going to start trading in the US, which means BlackRock and Co. are offering Ethereum to their investors. Now that onboards hundreds of millions in liquidity into the altcoin ecosystem. But let's go one by one. First off, Cosmoverse tickets, that's another big event happening next week. More precisely tomorrow, July 22nd. Monday is when we are starting the general admission ticket sale. So if you're having plans to make it to Cosmoverse this year, then you can come here on our website, and tomorrow this will be opened where you can get your ticket. It's $179. You can also buy it in Atom. You can connect your Kepler wallet. We're also having a loyalty pass, which is not yet updated here, but it will be there tomorrow. Loyalty passes for those that have attended at least 2 Cosmoverses or have bought tickets for at least 2 Cosmoverses in the past, because you guys are whitelisted and eligible for early bird ticket prices, which means $99 per ticket. Also remember that on Friday, we're having Cosmos Medellin. This is a full day event. I'm going to be here. I've been in Medellin for the past 6 weeks. And if you are around, or if you are looking for a reason to visit Medellin, then this might be the perfect occasion. There's some builders, there's some validators, there's content creators, there's some founders. This event is also co-hosted with Keychain, that are also based out of Bogota, Colombia. And Keychain is building a new chain that also aims to become Atom secured, also making use of partial set security. They're also active in the tokenization field. Anyways, we have a couple more events coming up. We have Cosmos Istanbul around the Istanbul Blockchain Week in August. We also have Cosmos Buenos Aires. We're coming to Argentina also in August 16 to be more precise, but more information will come soon. But now let's talk about macro news, also in the context of politics and the election this year in the USA, which is going to have a big impact on the trajectory of this bull run and how high we're going next year. Now, in my last video, I reported that Donald Trump is considering Jamie Dimon as a possible Treasury Secretary. Now we have another contender, and that is no other than BlackRock CEO Larry Fink. And in my personal view, Jamie Dimon would be a very, very poor choice and a very bad choice for crypto, and not really fit into what Trump said about becoming the crypto president. So that does not fit at all. Jamie Dimon has said very negative things about crypto in the past years, not too long ago in Davos, which is where he said really bad things about Bitcoin too. And not just as an asset, but also kind of the philosophical implications that Bitcoin has over the economy. And I think he just doesn't really like it. But also, I saw some comments in response to what I said in the video of you guys basically saying, but yeah, you're not 100% right, because also JP Morgan is involved and actually adopts some of the products. They're also part of, I think, one of the custodians, collaborating with Coinbase on the Bitcoin ETFs. So, of course, they are positioning the business to not miss out on making money. But I think him personally in a powerful position, which is what the Treasury Secretary position would be really bad. So I don't think JP Morgan would be a good choice, to be honest. Larry Fink, on the other hand, seems to be a little bit more moderate, which is also what this article talks about with his stances. And when it comes to crypto, did a 180, right? He was saying bad things about Bitcoin years ago, but especially recently, he's been shilling crypto like no other on national television. He talked very positive about it. BlackRock is making ads about Bitcoin and crypto. And today, they are the largest Bitcoin ETF spot provider in the world. And probably the same thing is going to happen with their Ethereum spot ETF. So this is all about that. And I think considering Fink for this position would be a lot more bullish for crypto. Obviously, there's a lot of other things behind the scenes that I'm not aware of. I'm not an American citizen. I don't know these people as much as probably American people do. But I think it's an interesting choice to consider. And from my kind of perspective, Fink would make a lot more sense here. But also in the end of the day, might also be someone completely else. And also keep in mind how powerful Larry Fink is. This guy is running a $10 trillion fund, basically, right? The world's largest money management firm. And the reason why they have such a good relationship and why Trump kind of trusts Fink already is because BlackRock handled Trump's investment portfolio for years. And this is what Trump said in the White House back in 2017 about Larry Fink. He said, Larry did a great job for me. He managed a lot of my money. I have to tell you, he got me great returns. Speaking of ETFs and BlackRock, we have seen $383 million in net inflows. And this marks yet another green day. Since July 5th, we have only seen inflows on the Bitcoin spot ETF after a couple of red days and 2 red weeks here, which is also when Bitcoin crashed. And also this whole FUD around the German government and Mt. Gox, which to be honest, has gotten really quiet around this, which is also something I talked about back when, this was maximum fear and panic. But this is just always how it is. This is just always the game. Now it's all eyes on the Ethereum spot ETF, which is starting to trade in 2 days, on Tuesday, July 23rd. And this is going to be a very impactful and historic, legendary event for our industry. So what you have to do now is you have to follow James Seyfarth. He is an ETF analyst at Bloomberg, and also Eric Balchunas, who is also an ETF analyst at Bloomberg. And these two gentlemen keep us posted in real time about all the developments and everything that's around the Ethereum spot ETF. Now, let's look more specifically into the Cosmos ecosystem, the interchain, and some developments there. Price-wise, we're not seeing much movement here. It's slightly down, everything. A few coins up, but mostly we're kind of going sideways here on the weekend. Nothing much is happening, but there are some big news and big launches that are around the corner. One of which is Penumbra, which all of you guys claimed your airdrop if you're subscribed to CryptoCito. If you're following this content, or also StakeCito and the Cito Zone, we have been making sure that everyone is aware of this airdrop. And Penumbra is now entering its next phase of launch for mainnet, and this is going to ratify the current network as Penumbra. So they just dropped a on-chain governance proposal, which is the first of 2 needed in order to bring the network to full functionality, where all tokens will be tradable, including the Penumbra token. Note that voting is currently only possible through CLI, the command line interface. So if you're not a technical person, then you probably can't vote, or you just delegate it to a validator like StakeCito, and we're voting on behalf of you. But good to see we have Penumbra going on mainnet and the token and airdrop going to live. Also, we have Lava Network that is finally going to launch entirely. We have the airdrop campaign that is expiring today, by the way. So you still have the chance to claim the airdrop, but you might not receive your Lava tokens upon Genesis. They actually extended the claim window. I think it should have expired 3 or 4 days ago. So they extended it until today. But if you're claiming now as a late claimer, then you might not get your tokens upon mainnet public launch. But the stats are in. We have over 40 million Lava tokens claimed from nearly 46,000 mainnet wallets. So that is great. I think their airdrop was relatively strict compared to most others. They didn't just drop it to stakers or anything. It was more so for the tech community, the developers, and also a few active early contributors and members, which is fair enough. Lava is more of a B2B chain and network, but I think also at the same time, they're trying to build a community, which is also why they dropped to the sloth and bad kids community, even though you had to have 2 bad kids in your wallet and not just 1. So that also washed a lot of people out, including myself. But anyways, it is what it is. Lava Network launch very, very soon. Speaking of infrastructure and B2B chains and projects, we also have some news about Akash Network, which is probably going to be one of the largest winners around the AI narrative, compute, and all these kind of things. It's more infrastructure related, not too much consumer facing, but I think it's critical infrastructure. And Akash is really doing God's work here as one of the flagship Cosmos chains out there. But also they're trying to dominate an entire niche with AI and compute. And a product that just shipped and released is an alternative to OpenAI's closed source token-based API system, which allows developers to add Llama 3, which is how they call that feature, to their apps. Fully open source, permissionless access, and free access. Akash is shipping, Akash is delivering, and this Akash Chat API is probably also something more for kind of developers and for builders. But this is exactly what I mean, right? This is an infrastructure related project. I understand that we need more consumer facing applications and real users and everything that's kind of easy to understand for the general public. But at the same time, we also need to continue to ship and innovate relentlessly on open source development and infrastructure, because without that, you can't have actually decentralized consumer applications. So Akash is building the layer, the invisible infrastructure layer, at least invisible to the open public, to the general crypto audience and users. But yeah, this is good to see that Akash keeps shipping and keeps delivering. On the other hand, we also have Mantra, which is probably going to be one of the big stars this year, as they're also launching their Cosmos Layer 1 blockchain in a few months from now. They're also one of the largest sponsors at Cosmoverse this year. And this means that Mantra is pushing very, very hard. They're pushing very, very hard on all ends. The Mantra token, the OM token, has done, I think, around 100x over the past year. So Mantra is very much alive. They announced multiple partnerships and integrations alongside a $500 million tokenization project in Dubai, where they're tokenizing real estate. I reported about that when it came out. And JP, the founder and CEO, is also a good friend of mine, a Shisha friend of mine. We also had Shisha in Dubai a couple months ago, and I've known him for many years. But JP is an absolute weapon and one of the most hardcore builders, hustlers, connectors in our entire industry. To be honest, I've never seen somebody work like him. He's just working and outworking most of his competitors and most of the other people in crypto. But yeah, he dropped a line here, and that line is basically RWA enterprise L2s, but then expanding into PSS proof of authority layer 2 that rents security from Mantra chain mainnet L1, gasless L2 for customizable real-world assets use cases at enterprise Web2 scale, also known as a good damn way to lock up lots and lots of OM. So what does this mean? And I also reached out to JP after this tweet, getting some kind of more insights around that. Basically what this means is technically Mantra could become a provider chain, as in you can build layer 2s around Mantra that are renting security and are OM secured to build gasless layer 2s that are basically proof of authority chains. So there is also a way to be regulatory compliant for these L2s, because the demand for these L2s actually comes from the real world enterprise sector, aka their partners, such as this $500 million tokenization project, for example, that would want to have their own environment, their own chain, where they can issue those assets, but they want to have it in a very secure, as in high security of the chain itself, but also they want to have more control over that chain, more sovereignty, and that is exactly what Cosmos enables, and is exactly what also PSS enables. And if Mantra were to implement that feature, this could imply that the Mantra chain becomes this fat app chain in which you have a lot of applications built around Mantra as consumer chains, consuming security or renting security from the Mantra L1, and they're all specialized for different projects, for different assets, and for different partners and clients, right? So this is really what it is. And obviously that will be very bullish for OM, especially if they land large projects like the $500 million project that I talked about in a recent video. But yeah, interesting times ahead for Mantra, and I'm very excited to see JP and the team winning. Switching gears to the liquid staking ecosystem, we have Stride announcing the integration into front ends like Kepler and Leap Wallet. This means that in the future, we'll have direct integrations, and Stride is also incentivizing that through the Stride reward share program, in which front ends can basically natively integrate the Stride application so that end users can much easier and much more seamlessly liquid stake their favorite assets. And Stride is now also market leader for Atom, Tia, and many others. And this is, I think, a good initiative to boost adoption around LSTs, liquid staking tokens, basically boosting also the capital flows in the Cosmos ecosystem and the interchain. And I think this is a good initiative. There's also a way of how if you're running a front end, you can apply there. Maybe this is also something in the future for us to consider to run a front end here. But yeah, I have to dig more deeper into that and maybe also talk to the team. But yeah, that's good to see. And sticking around the liquid staking ecosystem, we also have a new contender on the horizon. I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, Drop.money. Now I also talked with Initia, the founder, for over an hour. We had a great call the other day. I knew about Drop before. I reported about it a couple of weeks ago already, I think, 3-4 weeks ago. But yeah, Drop is basically Lido coming into Cosmos, right? And I think this is a very big deal. There's very close ties between Lido, Neutron, Drop, and also some of the other projects around now the Neutron ecosystem. And I can really see how Neutron becomes this ultra-secure smart contract platform with a lot of natively integrated applications like Astroport, Mars Protocol, and now also Drop, which essentially is Lido. And they are going to launch in a few weeks, so not too long away. And Drop Also says here, proud member of the Lido Finance Alliance. Lido itself, multi-billion dollar Ethereum liquid staking provider, by far market dominator in the Ethereum liquid staking world. Yeah, I think it's a top 7 asset, STETH. So there's going to be also a lot of synergies there. But yeah, and they're saying we're still, like, we have Stride, we have some other contenders, right? PSTIC as well, even though PSTIC is now more and more aligning with the Bitcoin ecosystem, which makes a lot of sense. Talked about this a lot as well. But yeah, Stride is really kind of focusing on the Cosmos ecosystem, and so is Drop. Drop is going to focus on the Cosmos ecosystem too. We also have MilkyWay that is focused more on the modular ecosystem, like Initia and Tia and all those kind of assets. But Drop really starts with Atom, the OG Cosmos asset, and then wants to expand from there one by one to add more assets. But they're also saying that we still have tens of billions of assets that are untapped in the interchain. And this is also one of the biggest bottlenecks on why Cosmos DeFi hasn't really picked up yet, because all these assets are just locked up, right? And this is really kind of what Drop wants to fix. I also saw this running meme going around that Drop is single-handedly going to make Atom pump, which obviously I wouldn't be mad about. So let's see if they can do it. MilkyWay also just came out and announced an NFT giveaway basically for OG milkers. So early adopters are getting this NFT, and you needed to have a median value of 2 milk tier or more. So if you are an early adopter, then you might be eligible for that. Also check out their modular staking portal on the Initia testnet. Like I said, MilkyWay is currently residing on Osmosis, but once Initia goes live, they're going to fully migrate. They're, I think, already in this process of migrating. And eventually, I also think that MilkyWay is more positioned as an LRT, as in a restaking platform that uses LSTs to secure other networks. So we have to see also how kind of the end visions for like Stride, MilkyWay, PSTake, and now Drop, how they're all kind of starting at the same level, but they're all going into different directions. So there might actually not be as much competition as one might think at the first glance. You really have to go deeper, talk to the teams, and that's exactly what I'm doing, what I'm sharing on this channel. Also keep in mind that you have this ongoing points program from MilkyWay, so you can earn M points and gain rewards. And yeah, you can do that by engaging here on the platform, by liquid staking on their testnet, and by climbing up the leaderboard. Now let's talk about NFT economy and Stargaze mainly, because Stargaze is still king of NFTs in Cosmos. And Stargaze announced a special surprise for mad scientist holders, basically those that were early adopters and bridged and listed on the Stargaze marketplace. Remember that mad scientists launched on Osmosis and then migrated onto Stargaze, and they're now getting a rebate basically because Stargaze announced a surprise drop for the first 500 transactions, and those are getting a share of 750,000 stars each. So the first 100 get 2,500 stars, the second 100 get 2,000 stars, and so on and so forth. So if you have been one of those users, then you are going to see a few stars showing up in your wallet. Stargaze also has this campaign now, Atom August, which they also do in collaboration with the Atom Accelerator. So they applied for a grant and got granted $50,000 for this campaign. 30,000 of those 50,000 are now going for rewards to attract more creators, new creators. And there's also a referral system around it. So if you're interested in that, if you're a creator, if you have creative ideas for NFTs, but you also need some funding or kind of incentive to do that, then you can come here, submit this form, and yeah, then you might be considered to get this bonus. Anyways, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, you learned something. I hope you are subscribed and like this video. Comment also if you have any questions, feedback. Get ready for next week. It's going to be an impactful one with the Ethereum spot ETF launching in the US. So it's all eyes on that. And I think we have a bright time ahead, especially with altcoins, as we're entering now the phase 1 of alt season, which is disbelief in altcoins so much that altcoins will just do what's least expected and they will start running. I'm out for today. I'll see you guys very soon. Until then, stay safe and be good.